Hello and welcome. In today's video I will be creating 4 cards using these spiral flower dies and this squiggle dies, and I will be using tea-dyed paper and cardstock to create my cards. I will also be using these die sets, these 2 embossing folders and this stem set. To create my flowers I will be using normal printer paper, and I am using the colors yellow, peach and pink. Since the paper is quite thin, I am folding it twice so I can cut 4 flowers at a time. With some tape I am fixing my dies to the paper, and then I am running everything through my die cutting machine, and that is what my cutouts look like. I am putting the dies next to their cutouts so that you can see what they look like. These 2 dies have an extra piece of paper which needs to be taken away like this. Next I am peeling the 4 layers apart. To turn my cutouts into beautiful flowers I am using a toothpick, and I am simply rolling the paper onto my toothpick. Since I want this flower to be rolled quite narrow, I am using the toothpick until the end. And this is what the flower looks like. But before I glue it together I show you the other cutout from the same die set, and I show you how I turn it into a flower one more time. While I am rolling it around the toothpick I am holding it quite tight. When I reach the end I am loosening the grip so it will loosen up a bit and I will be able to get the toothpick out of it. When the flower turns out too tight, then I can loosen it up a little bit with my toothpick. Turning the flower upside down, I am adding a little drop of hot glue, and then I am pressing the base onto the flower. With a toothpick I bring the flower in its final shape, and once more I show you how I glue the flower together and how I bring it into its final shape using a toothpick. For my next flower I will be using this die, and I will create a large flower in which I will be using 2 cutouts. Again I am starting to roll the paper around the toothpick, but this time I stop rolling with the toothpick after approximately halfway, and then I am rolling it with my fingers, so it will be a little bit loose and white. For the lower half of my flower I am rolling the petals with a toothpick down, starting from the center of the cutout. Then I need a 1-inch circle, and I am punching it out using a 1-inch circle punch. So now I am bringing my flower into the right shape, and I am rolling it starting from the inside of the flower, and I am using just my fingers to bring it in shape. Now I am finding the right position, and then I am holding it from the back side and I am adding a good amount of hot glue to adhere it to the circle cutout. And now I am adhering the small flower in the center of this larger flower, again using some hot glue. And ready is the focal point for my first card. So now let's get started to create our cards. As I already mentioned, today I will be using tea-dyed paper and cardstock, and also some old packaging in 2 different brown tones. First I have cut out this squiggle die from the darker brown tone, and the cutout looks like this. From the lighter brown tone I am creating a frame using the 2 largest dies from this die set. To create my panel I am using this embossing folder, and I am coloring it up with some Memento rich ochre, and then I am putting it through my die cutting machine, and the result looks like this. For my decoration I am cutting out this die 3 times, and I will be using the large flower we have just created and 3 small yellow roses. From the packaging I have cut out the sentiment Happy Birthday, and now I am coloring it with some Memento rich ochre. With some double-sided tape I am adhering my panel to my card base, and before I adhere the frame I am distressing it using some Memento rich ochre, and I am applying the color using an ordinary sponge. And I can already assemble my card. Using some wet adhesive I am adhering the frame and the squiggle to my panel. And after I have found the right position for everything I am adhering the flowers and the leaves together with the sentiment using some wet adhesive. And ready is my first card. For my next card I am cutting out these 3 leaves from an index card on which I have adhered some green printer paper. But before I cut them out I embossed them, and they look like this. For my panel I have stamped a background using this border stamp from this stamp set, And you saw me using this stem set in a previous video, and I have used some Memento Rich Coca. From the lighter brown toned card packaging I have cut out a label using the second largest die from this die set, and then I have distressed the edge using some Memento Rich Coca. Using some tea-dyed paper I have made a cutout from this die set, and I have also used the second largest die. From this die set I have used this die to create 4 flowers for my decoration, and here are the 3 leaves I have cut out before, and then I have prepared a sentiment, happy birthday, like I did for the previous card. And these are all the parts I need for this card, and I can assemble my card. With some double-sided tape I am adhering the panel to the card base, and with some wet adhesive I am adhering the label to my card, and also with some double-sided tape I am adhering this cutout to the label. All the other pieces I am adhering using some wet adhesive. And ready is my second card. For my next panel I am using a stamp from this stamp set, and with an acrylic block I am stamping some little leaves in Memento Rich Coca just around the border. From the lighter tone cardstock I have cut out a frame using the 2 largest dies from this die set, and I have also distressed the edge using some Memento Rich Coca. For my sentiment I have already stamped this stamp on my cutout from the 3rd largest die, and I have already distressed the edges. For my flower embellishment I have created 2 flowers using the larger die and 2 flowers using the smaller die, and I have cut out 3 sets from this leaf dies. From the darker packaging I have made a cutout using this die. And I am ready to bring my card together. I have already adhered the panel with some double-sided tape, and using some wet adhesive I am adhering all the other parts to my card. For the 2 smaller flowers I am only using 1 leaf, and I am adhering the flower in the middle of the leaf, so the leaf appears to be smaller. And ready is my 3rd card. For my next panel I am using this embossing folder, and after I have embossed it, it looks like this. And to bring the bricks out better I am coloring them with some Memento Rich Coca, and I am applying the color directly with my ink pad. From the lighter cardstock I have made a cutout using the 2nd largest die, and from the darker cardstock I made a cutout using the 3rd largest die. And for the leaves I used this die. From the dark cardstock I have cut out this squiggle die. For my flower embellishment I have created 2 flowers using the larger die and 1 flower using the smaller die. Then I have colored the edge of my card base in Memento Rich Coca. For my panel I am using a plain piece of dyed paper, slightly smaller than the card base, and the brick embossed piece is slightly smaller than the piece which comes underneath. And I have already adhered everything together using some double-sided tape. And here I have adhered the two labels on top of each other using some wet adhesive. And for my sentiment I have used this happy birthday stamp, which I have stamped in Memento Rich Coca. And now I am adhering the squiggle using some wet adhesive, and I am assembling the flowers. And for the leaves I am cutting the one leaf apart and I am adhering them under the flowers. And this is my last card for today. And here are the 4 cards of today's video. I hope you had fun and enjoyed today's video. If so, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to check on my other videos. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.